Hey YouTube. So this will be my first video and I'm very excited because I've been wanting to make videos for a very long time. And if any of you watched my first video, it seems totally random. But mainly I want my channel to focus on music, but I don't know where exactly this is all going to take me because I have a lot of interests. I'm all over the place and I'd like to see what happens and if anyone's curious about the things that I post, and I'm open to questions and suggestions and whatnot. Keep them. Let's keep those friendly though. And anyone who watched my first videos, I chose the furry friend tag because I thought it was just a simple way of getting to know me. And also, I just wanted to see how YouTube worked. I'd never posted a video before. So I chose to introduce you guys to a little member of my family, my cat. So if you're interested and you like animals, give it a shot, give it a watch. But if not, I'm cool with it. I just really wanted to see how it all would work, and I decided to keep the video up there because why not? I like tags. So anyway, today I'm focusing on one of my favorite artists, and she will probably go down in history as somewhere in my top 10, possibly top 20, top 20, top 10 artists of all time. And for me, that's hard to say, but in her case, it's not. Because if you are at all a Dawn Richard fan, you understand how fantastic of an artist she really is. Her work, her songwriting alone, just puts so many people to shame. And it's not to compare, but you kind of can't help it because you get frustrated when you love an artist so much that you're like, why don't more people know who this is? Why aren't they the biggest thing in the entire world? Because they deserve it, and they could influence so much positive change in the world, just making people feel, and I want what she can do to be exposed to so many people, and I hope that this video helps her. Anywho, now today I'll be talking about Dawn's latest album. It came out November 18th, titled Redemption Heart, and those of us who have been on the Dawn Richard boat, we have been going through this journey with her ever since she was on Making the Band and she was on Danity Kane. Danity Kane had 2 albums. They were really good albums, actually. And then she went and formed Dirty Money with Diddy and another songwriter by the name of Kalina, who you might have seen on Love and Hip Hop. And after that ended, after Puff was like, okay, I'm done, she decided to continue making music, and she didn't get shelved and she didn't get tossed to the side. She left. She was released and she wanted to go, and she decided to start making her own music, and it's been self-funded ever since. That, to me, that is remarkable to me because everything in the music industry is so expensive. But then you find these creative ways to get things done, especially nowadays with technology, and Dawn is curious about that. So, with that being said, focusing on the Redemption album, very quickly, let me just say that this is the 3rd album in the Hearts trilogy, so we're at the end. I don't know what comes next. I'm not really focused on what's next. I'm still sort of into this thing right now. But this is the 3rd chapter. And for those of you who have never heard a Dawn album, her first album was titled, first of the trilogy anyway, was titled Golden Heart. The 2nd was Black Heart. And the 3rd being Redemption Heart. Get it? Red. Now, a little bit to explain here. The Golden Heart album was about a young woman's journey through the music industry, but it was told in almost sort of like an old-fashioned King Arthur-esque fashion. This young woman is out there with all her dreams and all of her everything she could bring, everything from her heart into this whole industry, and she's out to slay this monster called industry. And it sounds very strange. It even sounds a little bit corny, but then you hear the music and it's unbelievable. Dawn she pulls references from everywhere, from literature, from artists such as Bjork and Biff Naked, and just and other classical musicians and everything. So it just, everything she does is so flawlessly executed, and it's unbelievable that it all comes together with a small group of people, because she usually only works with one principal producer at a time for each album, for the entire album, so it has a very cohesive sound, unlike many artists today who usually work with the hottest producer here and then this person there, and it's like 10 different producers on one project, and it can be very scattered. Hers has a sort of cohesiveness that you don't get anymore. So the Golden Heart album was very well received critically. Critics love all three of these albums, actually. But the first album was about her bold, arrogant journey, how you feel when you feel like you've got everything stacked in your favor and you feel like you're going to take over the world, and you feel like, oh, the world, just wait till the world gets a hold of me. That's what the entire first album's about. I'm out here to kick butt. I'm a queen. I'm this, I'm that. I can do this. Feeling confident, feeling bold, feeling strong. And then as the album goes on, it starts to get a little more fragile toward the end. And then we go into the Black era. And the Black era is where Dawn personally struggled in her own life, where she had deaths in the family. She had her father, unfortunately, had cancer, was diagnosed with cancer, and there were a lot of other personal struggles in there, mixed in with the fallout of Danity Kane when they shortly reunited, but we're not going to focus on that. She really just wanted the best. She always wants the best for others and for herself, I think. And she ended up putting out Black Heart. I can't remember what month that came out in. I want to say it was 2014. Doesn't matter. Anyway, when that album came out, I was a little bit confused, because it being the Black era, I was expecting deep, dark, morose, sad, sort of like, okay, we're going hard here, and this is something that's a little bit, emotional. And there are songs on it that are emotional, but there's also some extremely sexy songs on the album. Her way of storytelling is unmatched. I honestly have not heard anyone write songs the way that she does, possibly ever. There are dance tracks. She's done some of the best visuals for that album. My favorite being the Titans video and song, which actually is only an interlude, but deserved to be a full song. And toward the end of that album, you start to feel a rising happen. And that's when you get to the Redemption album. This is a super ambitious project, by the way. The Redemption album is considered to be electronic, so it doesn't have as much of an R&B influence, but she'll always have that influence, I think, in her voice. The Redemption album is about after you've struggled and you've fallen down, you can come back. You can pick yourself back up. You can be redeemed again. You can fight a little bit more, or maybe you've learned so much that you realize you don't have to fight so hard. And there are so many different songs on this album. There are 15 tracks total, and the intro when I heard the idea of redemption, I always think very, like, oh, this is going to sound interesting. It's almost like a joyous heartbeat. Most of the tracks on this album have some form of a dance element to them, and I just want to highlight a couple of my favorites. Love Under Lights is a song about a woman seeing another woman in the club and being attracted to her. And then later in the song, it changes. And all of a sudden that same woman, I believe, is still attracted to another man, to a man. So there's this sort of all are welcome feel to the album that, whether you like men, you like women, whatever makes you feel good is welcome here. So there's right away there's this opening to the album that feels really nice. And then Black Crimes is when she gets a little bit deeper and she starts talking about the horrible crimes committed against Black people in the last few years, the ones that we've heard about anyway, that have been all over the news, that have broken our hearts as people, not just Black people. But Black Crimes is a very important song, and she's made a point of saying, why exactly is it that they love to hurt us so much? Why does their love to look like hate, basically. And then we focus on other songs on the album that lead into like Voices. That's a beautiful song. I love her voice on that song. And the repeated chorus is "Can you hear those voices?" over and over again, which I love. And one of my favorite songs in the entire album is called "L.A." and it features a trumpet player by the name of Trombone Shorty. I'm sorry, I said trumpet player. Featuring Trombone Shorty. He's a New Orleans jazz musician that she actually knows personally. And I thought it was interesting that Dawn, being from Louisiana, she lives in Los Angeles. So whenever we hear LA, we think of Los Angeles. And she's from Louisiana, and that's also in LA. And that song starts off with her being in Los Angeles and driving down La Brea Avenue and talking about just what it feels like to just be chill and thinking of her time growing up in growing up in New Orleans. And then the mood of the song changes and it becomes smoother, more jazzy, more, I don't know how to say it, just a little bit deeper to who she is. And it goes into LA, more of a Louisiana jazz sound. And I don't know, I just love it. It's got a great smooth vibe to it, and it's very comfortable to listen to. You almost forget that it's all one song. And I'm going to skip a few over because I don't want the video to be too long. Hey Nikki is a very sexy song, and I don't know if she's talking to a man or a woman. I'm pretty sure it's a woman though. Lilies is an interlude, but something about it makes me, feel almost, even though it sounds very light and pretty, it almost makes me feel sad. She's mentioning the lilies that grew outside the house where she used to live. And, I think she's remembering a different time of her life, or what maybe lilies represent to her. And the last two tracks on the album, the two I'm going to highlight anyway, the Louvre. And for those who don't know, the Louvre is a French museum of fine art, and it's sort of her love letter to her gender fluid audience and fans out there who she believes gay people, gender fluid people, they're here to be the beautiful things in this world, and the world has a hard time embracing that and accepting that from them. And she basically lets them know that, the world may not appreciate you, but I wish I could hang you in the walls of the Louvre because you are art to me. You are beauty to me. You are everything to me. And instead she says, I will hang you in my heart, which such a beautiful thing to say to someone that maybe needed to hear that they need to be loved, or that they are loved. And lastly, Valhalla, for those who aren't familiar, this all taking a huge Knights of the Round Table sort of vibe through all of her albums. Valhalla is heaven in Norse mythology. And she mentions basically escape, run away with me, where there's no color, there's no, you're not a minority, you're just yourself, you're just a rebel, and you're allowed to be that, and you can run away and be a part of the same world that I'm in and be loved. And I love that. It's a beautiful exit to this album. I mean, the way it starts to the way it ends, it tells a mean story. And not only did Dawn release this album on vinyl, which a lot of people don't do, she also released the album on a USB necklace / keychain, so you can take it wherever you want. And she chose a triangle because for the last year, I believe, or last year and a half, her stage set was a self-built triangle that she set up at South by Southwest and all these amazing festivals all around the world, and all these amazing stages around the world and small clubs and whatnot. And she literally would lug a tool set there and build. And most people just get on stage, perform, and get off. And she really wants to give people an experience. So I thought it was kind of cool that not only did she release the album on a USB, which no one does, with other content, mind you, 3D content, music videos, a lookbook, a lyric book. I mean, beautiful shots of her. It's amazing. And just so ahead of what other people are doing. People who have millions of dollars to spend on their art aren't doing things as unconventional as her and as amazing as her. And I'm sure they probably will start, but I hope she will always be remembered as the person who did it first. Because not only did she do it well, you know, she did it first as well. But the album, just so you know, it's in the shape of a triangle, and it comes apart, and it actually says Dawn on it. And it's made from like a hard rubber. I thought it was going to be like a hard, thin plastic, lightweight plastic. But it's actually like a hard rubber. And I haven't like worn it as a necklace. I'm wearing it as a necklace now. Kind of going with my space theme. But I love it. And I still can't believe she came up with it and then executed it. I don't even know who you would go to be like, yeah, I want to release my album on a USB. I don't even know how she did that. So the album is amazing. I will be honest though. I purchased the album. I pre-ordered it on iTunes like a dingbat and then totally forgot that I wanted to pre-order this and get it on a USB. So when it showed up and I plugged it up, I was all excited because there's all this exclusive content on it. It takes a while to load. I finally get it to upload. And the same pictures that they were saying were so exclusive were all released. I'd seen them all on Instagram. I was like, dang it. And the lyrics were probably my favorite part because there are times where I don't understand exactly the words that she's saying, so I like that part. The 3D content, I thought this was going to be sort of like a Lemonade kind of thing where there was a different video for every song. And I think she is doing that, but I thought it was going to be released on the USB, which is why I was like, well, that's worth it. And then come to find out, no, it actually was released. None of the videos have been released yet. This only has the 3D and 3D and 2D versions of the song Not Above That, the video for Not Above That. And for her sampling of this album, I actually saw it already on YouTube. And I had to download Opera, I believe, in order to view it in 3D. And I could navigate it. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I recommend anybody to go see it or to purchase the USB if you want to own it for yourself. But I have to be honest, as a fan, I was a little bit let down. I'm being told I was going to get something exclusive, and it's not. This is exclusive. But what's on it isn't exclusive. That was available on YouTube. So I was a little let down about that part, and it didn't amount to a lot of content, but I don't care. I support her no matter what. I still think she's doing a hell of a lot more than the people that are supposed to be the most talented in the world, and I just wish her all the success that the world can give her because she deserves it. So I give this album, let's say 5 stars, I'm giving it probably 5. I'm not kidding. I'm giving it 5 because her vocals are on point. Her storytelling is amazing. Every time I listen to it, I find something more that I love and something that I'm interested in, or, oh, I didn't hear that little sound. Hearing it out loud is different than hearing it on headphones. I mean, the production from Noise Castle and Machine Drum, she turned me into a Machine Drum fan. I didn't even know who Machine Drum was, and he released an album called Human Energy that I listened to a lot, and I'm just glad that she's one of those people who gets me into other artists, and look forward to more Dawn material in the future because I will never shut up about her because she deserves all of my attention, to be honest. And please look out for any of her videos and do yourself a favor and look up Tide Paradox video. It's bomb. It's amazing. It's not on any album, and it's a beautiful song and an amazing video, so I highly recommend it. I know this video was extremely long, but thank you for watching, and I hope you tune into a much shorter future album review or music chat. So, have a good one.